Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a really fascinating text from May 2006 by Tao Wan, and it's called Resurrection in Love. Let me tell you, whether you're a spiritual veteran or, a total newcomer to this stuff, this piece is an absolute wild ride. We're going to map out the specific, almost matrix-like logic of this worldview, using the author's own concepts to see exactly how they construct this epic, cosmic journey. So let's just get right into it. The author hooks us right out of the gate with this statement. To die and then come back to life is called resurrection. Now, on the surface, that sounds like your standard textbook definition, right? But as we'll see in just a second, the author completely throws biology out the window here and pivots straight into pure metaphysics. So we really need to look at what dying and coming back to life actually mean within the specific internal logic of this universe. Okay, let's dive into the core architecture of this worldview with Section 1, the mechanics of life. The text kicks off with this totally fascinating techno-spiritual metaphor. Basically, it asks us to imagine life as a software program, and the default coding, well, it's a slow crawl toward death. Everything is just gradually breaking down over time. But here's the catch. There are built-in self-repair functions. To trigger them, though, you can't just, plug yourself into a wall outlet. You have to inject a highly specific spiritual energy to act as a sort of software patch. Once that energetic patch is applied, boom, it initiates a reboot, allowing the whole biological and spiritual system to actually awaken and heal. So, you're probably wondering, what exactly is the software patching energy? Well, it's love. But we have to forget about fleeting human romance for a second. In this framework, love is an immense, literal, and highly tangible energy source. The author actually makes the incredibly bold claim that just by calling out with love, a person in a vegetative state could awaken. It frames love as the ultimate override code that can completely reboot a failing biological system. It's an active, structural force capable of literally rewiring existence itself. So, let's see how that energetic foundation completely flips the script on tradition in Section 2, Redefining the Resurrection. Here is where the text completely redefines the concept. Resurrection, according to Tao Wan, is absolutely not about rising from a physical grave. Instead, the author frames our entire human existence as a dream state. We're all in a deep sleep. So, true resurrection is simply the act of waking up from this illusion. It's having your consciousness snap right back to reality. It's purely an awakening of the mind. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrasting realities at play here. The human realm is equated purely to sleep, to illusion. Then, across the bridge is heaven, which is absolute reality. The text refers to it with these really grand titles, like the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium world. The whole point of this framework isn't just to be a good person while you're inside the dream. No, the ultimate goal is to completely cross that bridge and wake up in reality. Well, how exactly do you cross that bridge? That brings us to Section 3, Love as Spiritual Energy. Here is where the actual mechanics of this get incredibly specific. The author states that higher life forms have perfectly structured bodies, and those structures are quite literally made out of love. Because they're built from love, you can only reboot them with love. Think about it like this. You can't jumpstart a love-based operating system with a completely different kind of energy, right? The input has to perfectly match the original structure to initiate the resurrection sequence. And right here, the text does something totally wild. It completely breaks the fourth wall. It drops all the abstract philosophy and addresses the reader directly, saying, I am here to resurrect you, and the method I use is love. The author steps right into the narrative, basically acting as the active catalyst, beaming this energy straight to you as you read the words. It transforms the whole thing from a cosmic theory into this highly interactive experience. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, the mission of awakening. Now, this is important. This text is not framed as some general self-help guide for the masses, not at all. It's framed as a targeted cosmic rescue mission. The author's explicit, stated goal is to find celestial beings who descended to the human world and basically got stuck in sleep mode. They are exclusively sweeping the population for these specific, hidden, slumbering entities whose consciousness is still trapped inside the human dream. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how neatly it categorizes the spiritual states of humanity. If a celestial being is only lightly asleep, simply emitting love triggers an immediate love-at-first-sight reaction and eternal fidelity. Deeply asleep? Well, that requires constant calling. And if they are profoundly asleep, the author implies they literally need a spiritual shaking to finally snap out of it. It takes a lot of elbow grease to wake those ones up, so to speak. But take a close look at the bottom row, the out-of-sync souls. Why are some people totally indifferent to this energy? The internal logic here is a bit ruthless, but it's completely consistent. Out-of-sync souls simply never lived in heaven to begin with. They completely lack the foundational data to respond. If you don't have the internal receiver built for the frequency of heaven, the signal of emitted love just washes right over you. For them, the text states, there is no awakening, because there is literally nothing to wake up to. Okay, let's move on to Section 5, Returning Home to Heaven. This is the final stage of the text's spiritual hero's journey. For those who do have the receiver, there is a very clear, deliberate sequence for this rescue. First, you have to actively accept and feel the emitted love. Next, you spiritually resonate with it. As you start to align your consciousness to that highly specific frequency, you gradually wake up from the human dream. And finally, your consciousness snaps back to reality, fully returning to heaven. It's all about this deliberate step-by-step vibrational alignment. This entire advanced cultivation practice culminates in a highly emotional final plea from the author. It reads, "This is not your home. Your home is in heaven, which is made of love. Dear ones, wake up." It's really designed to act as that final energetic shake to break the profoundly asleep right out of the human software program, urging them to remember their true origins. Regardless of your own personal beliefs, the mechanics of this text offers such a fascinating lens on where we put our energy. Treating love as a structured, activating frequency, rather than just a fleeting human feeling, is a really powerful concept to chew on. So I'll leave you with this. If love is the ultimate wake-up call, what is your consciousness tuned into today? Are you asleep to the signals around you, or are you awake? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what you're tuning into.